Well, hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unlocked. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson. It's always my pleasure to be here with you on I'm going to say, a beautiful but pretty smoggy, smoky Wednesday morning here on the Gold Coast. We've had a few fires and woke up this morning and it was like just this complete haze over the entire city. So hopefully that will clear over the next 24 hours. But I've got a real treat for you guys today. I am joined by the amazing Darius Tan. Darius comes to me all the way from Singapore, and after many years of doing his thing as a social media expert on the subject of organic client attraction, he is now here on the Unlock show to unlock for you guys what the secrets are. What the heck is the recipe to making organic traffic work? So he spent over 5 figures learning learning and growth hacking on social media, and he's grown a following of over 250,000 people in just under 2 years. He's quoted by his 6 and 7 figure clients as the IG or organic whiz for having a proven roadmap and a system that his team at Strategic Attraction helps coaches, consultants, and educators to stand out as their go-to option. He is consistently attracting ideal clients without spending a single dime on ads. I don't know about you, but music to our ears, right? So as the host of Influence to Impact, he helps thousands of service-based entrepreneurs amplify their influence and impact and income across the globe. So here we go. I'm introducing you to the amazing Darius Tan. Welcome to the show, Darius. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on the show itself. I think Tracy Wilson is a person that is extremely great at explaining fundamentals. I think you guys don't see the hard work and the effort behind the scenes itself, but I think that really makes sense stand out as a great host of a podcast itself.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, it's after doing this, I think I'm up to about, I don't know, I've lost track of how many episodes, but I honestly have to say that, this show is one of my most favorite things to do out of everything I do in my business. And like I mentioned to you earlier, this whole concept of organic traffic is like, it's music to my ears because often, people say, oh, I don't want to spend a lot of money on advertising, and it's very hit and miss, and if you don't do it right, you can stand to lose a lot of money. Whereas in the whole this fun organic world, I'm going to say that's exactly what it is. It's a whole load of fun. So let me ask you this question, Darius. So you've been doing this for some time. So way back when you first started out, I know that when I was reading your bio and sort of doing this research on you, I know it wasn't always that easy, right? And you kind of stumbled across that, hey, I'm gonna go down this path of organic traffic. So what actually got you started here? How did this all come to be?
Okay, that's a very awesome. It's gonna be a bit long story as well, but I'll give a few pointers for the audience to take note as well on how and why you should start on organic marketing itself as well. So pretty much it all started back when I was actually on Instagram, on Twitter itself. I think that was after my growth hacking days itself. The thing was I could get a lot of followers. Like on Twitter, we got about 50, 60K followers. On Instagram, we got 100 to 180K followers around there. And we got a lot of followers itself. But one thing I realized is that I couldn't convert any clients at all. Pretty much the people didn't want to pay a $5 or $10, $17, $20, whatever you name it. I couldn't really convert clients itself. So even though I'm getting these followers, understand that followers doesn't mean interested people who will buy, right? Because we always think that, we always dream like, what, if I got more followers like Darius, I will get clients. Now here's the thing. For my first 50K followers itself, I had $0 in sales. First 50K followers, $0 in sales. So if you're still waiting, to get more followers in order to get clients, now that's the ultimate myth ever. Because you can have a ton of clients, but you can have zero interested people who want to buy. You can have people who are interested, but that doesn't mean that they're willing and able to take out cash from their wallet and want to buy from you itself. Now, of course, back then, I don't think I was very great with marketing and very good with a lot of things as well. So obviously, I was upgrading myself and spending a ton on courses and seminars. That's what I said. Right? I think I spent unbelievable amounts at even I myself. Do I regret a little bit of it? Kind of, because I see courses and seminars as you upgrading from level 0 to level 1. But coaches get you from level 1 all the way to level 100. right? Because after 2 days, 3 days seminar or 30-day course or whatever it is that you attend, most of the time you're going to execute and you're not going to continue doing it, which means a habit isn't formed in the next 66 days. And when a habit isn't formed, then that means your identity is still playing at the same level, right? The actions that you do, you're most likely revert back to the same old habits. So I can remember that one of my first business seminar itself, I went in because I had this followers. Now I knew, no, okay, how am I going to go and convert more clients? Okay. So I went into it and they start talking about funnels and ads and all these kind of things. And interestingly, because back then when I started, I was only 19. And I remember I paid 2K to go into this seminar stuff. Now, when you're 19, most of us were probably deadbeat broke when we were 19. If you think back, what were you doing when you were 19 years old? Right, maybe partying and things like that. So pretty much I was deadbeat broke after spending that 2K onto the seminar itself. Went in, and then the speaker and the coach itself, very well known, not going to say his name, but he talks about, having an offer, having a message and all these. And when it came to the ads part, now that was a huge concern. Because when you start talking about ads, he said that, okay, what you need is you just need to spend about, $50, $100 a day just for ads itself. And that was when I took out my wallet and I opened up my wallet, and then I realized like, after spending 2K on this program itself, I don't think I got any cash to spend. I don't think I got any cash to spend on ads at all. So there was a huge concern because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't really go and use his strategy. I was like, well, shit. I just paid 2K to be smacked in the face that I gotta spend on ads to get clients. So that didn't really feel good, right? It didn't really sit well with me because, wow, I paid for something that I couldn't really use a lot of. And so it went all into shame because I was learning a lot of funnel and ads. And the thing with funnels, right, is that funnels are only used when you have a lot of traffic itself. I mean, it's fine if you have a funnel, but it's best used when you have a lot of traffic. And the problem here is I didn't really have much traffic. Or in a sense that you might be thinking, wait, Darius, I thought you got a lot of followers, right? Now, that doesn't mean I have quality traffic because I have very low quality traffic. People that came in that just wanted to buy like, those kind of business opportunity offers, those kind of affiliate offers and things like they drive me like views on my podcast, they drive me views on my YouTube and things like that. But they don't drive me any sales because they are not exactly the highest quality leads or prospects and clients I want to work with. And so I got very frustrated with this whole thing about, I always thought that if I grew more followers, first, they always like to say, you grow more followers, you're going to get more clients. Well, that kind of sucks. Second, they say that if you spend on funnel and ads, you get clients. Well, I don't have cash to spend on that. So I was thinking right now, like, okay, shit, what am I supposed to do? Right, what am I supposed to do now that the options that people have previously told me, grow followers, right? Spend on funnels and ads. Now I'm like, okay, shit, I'm already here. What am I supposed to do? I thought to myself, okay, the only thing I could do is to maximize the use of whatever resources that I have, which pretty much was $0. And if I had $0, I could have to do something about that. And so I dived into this whole world. I didn't even know back then it was called organic traffic, organic marketing. Okay, it was just me going around and just testing out different strategies of like, pretty much I was just speaking a lot to my follower base, right? And so enough happens that I just keep working at it again and again. I started to interact with people and the DMs through my follower base itself. And funny enough, right, people always think that, my first client, right, is gonna be a cheap client. It's gonna be like a $50, $100 offer. Now here's the thing. I did a $100 offer back then. But I'll say that, because I was starting out, what I wanted to do is I just want to see if this follower growth method works for other people itself, because those people who want to grow their followers as well, right? Especially not grow until such a huge account like me, but grow quality followers as well, not just low quality followers, right? Because that was a mistake I made in the first half. And so I put out my offer that, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna give you like beta coaching in such a sense, because I just want to see if it works, right? And I told myself, okay, $100, $100, just come to me and I'll help you out. $100 in a session. No one bite. I had 100K followers. No one bite. And I was thinking, what the hell? 100K, 100K followers. I put out such a low freaking offer and no one even wants. Right? Like, is no one even interested in this? Because when I went in real life, people were interested. And then I was thinking, wow, crap, like in the seminar and courses, because I've attended many, many different seminars and courses. Like I spent over I think close to 50K already about now on seminars and courses alone. Don't even get me started on coaches, because coaches has a lot more, right? But I went on out there in real life, and people were like, oh, this is quite good, right? And when I went online, everyone's like crickets. Like everyone's interested. I do a poll and everything. And then when I say that, I have this offer, and then everyone like goes crickets. And then I realized I'm bad at offers and marketing itself.
Isn't that interesting? Because you did right. Like a lot of people would correlate that. I've got to grow the number of followers that I've got, and the more followers I have, then that's surely got to translate into dollars somewhere along the line. And unfortunately, most people would go and try and find. It's almost like, I'm going to say, there's this pecking order that after a while, when you've been in the industry for some time, you kind of you get to a point where you figure out, oh, actually, the paid advertising and the growing your growing your followers and everything comes I'm going to say a far second and third and fourth to organic traffic, because when you do it, the organic way, and you're able to start building out, and I know you talk about this too, and I want to go here, which is like building out your authentic brand, building authority, and building out, your own personal brand online. And when you start to do that, and I think that's what I'm hearing through your messaging, was I figured out, I twigged on that I actually just had to be me. I had to start talking and sharing what I had to share with my followers. And slowly but surely, they were like, oh, that's what he does. Oh, he knows a thing or two about organic traffic. And slowly but surely, they then started reaching out to you. And that's generally the way that I certainly see it certainly happened for me. I know that's what happens with a lot of our clients when I'm teaching them how to create their own show and share their messaging. And so therefore, once you've started building up your audience with organic traffic, because you now have got some money in your pocket and people are coming to you through a attraction strategy rather than a push strategy, you've now got some money to be able to spend on advertising. And no longer are you in that position of grab out my phone, because that's where I have my cards, but you're not looking in your wallet going, oh crap, I've just spent $2,000 on a course that's teaching me how to run ads, but now I can't execute any of that because I have no money left in my wallet to pay a single dime on advertising.
Exactly.
It's crazy, right? So I also understand that it's really interesting, because I've been to many, many seminars like you. So I've heard a lot of gurus talk, and one of my favorite people, Myron Golden, he talks about the sort of, you may have heard this too from Myron, he talks about sort of the levels of people, and like you were mentioning, you had come up with this offer that was like, I think it's mind-blowing, I think it's going to be amazing, you've got 100,000 followers online, let's just throw the bait out there and see what happens. But unfortunately, when we're just focused on growing that, and I don't know what your view on this is, but when you're absolutely focused on just growing an audience through followers, you're actually you're not always attracting the right type of people. And he calls it like, and I may not have this quite right, but it's something to the effect of, you start by attracting the freeple people, which are not ever going to pay anything from, they're not going to spend a dime. They just want all of your information for free. Then you've got the cheaple people who are going to spend maybe a few bucks to get, the information that they want, but they're not really going to spend too much more. And I'm going to call them the meeple people, which are kind of like the mid-range people that, they might spend a little bit more, but they're also kind of fishing elsewhere. And then you've got the preple people, which are the premium people who are like prepared to spend the money, invest the time, the effort, and the dollars to actually get a very specific result. And I saw the smile on your face when I said, Myron Golden kind of talks about this. I think you're familiar with that concept that he talks about. And I think is that what kind of happens when you go down the path of just being extremely focused on growing a follower base?
Oh yeah, I think that's a very interesting question itself. With regards to, I think, growing a follower base itself, the real reason why I wasn't able to convert anyone from it was actually because I started out not knowing exactly what I was going to market. I started out not knowing what I was going to have an offer. I started not knowing a lot of things. The only thing I knew back then was like, hey, Gary Vee said that there's an opportunity in this market. Let me just whack the hell out of it with content. It worked. I realized I'm a little bit of a genius. I don't know. And I was like, oh crap, this works. And then after that, I realized that, oh, okay, maybe this doesn't work so much because the people I attract aren't exactly qualified prospects itself. So to me, I view it as two different things, right? It's either, you're going to be qualified or you're going to be unqualified. Now, what do I mean by qualified? Because I know Myron Gordon talks about a lot of levels. Now, because one thing I realized is that ultimately, if, $100 offers don't work, like continuing that story from before, I realized that, hey, you know what if I just hop on a call with people and just figure out why it is that are their problems and where they want to be itself. And surprisingly enough, my first client wasn't $100 offer. It wasn't a $500. It wasn't a $900. It was a 2.5K offer itself. That was in USD, so it equivalents to about 3.3K in SGD itself, right? I think Aussie as well. So funny enough, right? My first client itself didn't pay me $100, but it ended up paying like 30 times more than that. Is it 30 times? I think I'm getting my math right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much understand that we all have a lot of followers and we'll have like prospects that come in. Ultimately, it's whether they're qualified or not qualified. And by meaning of qualified meanings that they have the same values as you, right? They have the same mission as you. They have kind of the same vision. I won't say exactly the same, but they know where's their journey and where they want to go towards. And now you're best positioned to help them when you have already been on the journey before. That's my ultimate criteria. Because if you go back and look at all the clients that you serve and you hear their story out, most of them have a similar story to you itself. Now, what do I mean by story? It means that maybe you had moments where you felt like you were silenced. Then you realize that, hey, actually all of your other clients also felt silenced at a period of time, maybe by the family or by the people itself. That's not my story. That's my friend and my client's story itself. But everyone else have their own different story itself. And you will start to attract people with similar origin stories. That's one thing that we don't realize. That we always think that, my origin story is my origin story. I'm special, I'm unique, right? But the truth is, there are some elements in your story itself that will resonate and will click and will be the same for other clients itself. For example, for me, I attract clients that have been burned by seminars and courses itself. Well, you want to guess why? Because I mean, pretty much I already said it, because I've been burnt by programs and courses as well, right? And the kind of clients I also attract are people that previously at one point of life, they felt like they were helpless. They felt like they keep on working on the same thing again and again, but they couldn't do anything about it, right? They felt like at that point of time, they wanted to help that one person, or they wanted to do that one thing, but they felt like they couldn't do it as well. So that's the kind of clients I attract itself because of my own origin story, which I think will be too long for this 1 hour show itself. But I'm not going to go deep into it. But understand that when it comes to qualified clients, I look into three things. I look into their mission, I look into their values, and I look into what's their origin story itself. Usually back in time itself, like what I say, they have moments of elements that are similar to me. And the thing is, we don't attract people who like us. We attract people who are like us. Right? And when we understand that we work with people that are like us, that's when we work and enjoy our best moments with them, and we get the most results from them. Why? Because they believe in our solution, they believe in us itself. That's when it's easiest for us to go in and say, hey, okay, let's do this thing. And they go like, oh, you know what? Let's do it. Now, the ones that are resistant, you realize that you have ideal clients and you have non-ideal clients. The non-ideal clients are most likely the ones that are not really qualified, but you decided, hey, I just wanted the money, let me go and take it in. Which is completely normal. Because when you first start out, you're hungry for clients. I was hungry for clients. I just took in whatever I could get, right? Whatever followers I want to buy, you know what, let's go. And some of it weren't really ideal. Simple reason. They don't really have the top three values that I have, which is commitment, mastery, and vision itself. Right? I'll say love also is my fourth one itself. And if people aren't committed to the process and they don't see themselves staying in the same industry for the next 10 years, I realize I don't really work well with them. Because I need someone who wants to be at the top of their field. Because to me, it's not about, let me get you from level 0 to 1. Now, I'm going to get you from level 0 to 100 all the way. Right? And that's through ultimately organic traffic itself. And that's why I think, like, with our case studies itself, we got people from, 3K to 30K a month, from 1K to 20K a month, all these kind of stories itself. The reason is very simple. Because people are committed to the mastery itself. And more importantly, they have a vision. They have a vision of where they want to be 5 years, 10 years down the road. And you realize that whatever I said so far is really just based on values. It's really just based on values. And it's not about, whether ultimately a lot of people like to say, they must have a very big problem. They have to have an urgent problem. Yes, sure. These are very important because you should never work with someone that doesn't have a problem. Then pretty much they have no urgency to buy. They have no desire that they want to buy at all, right? But ultimately, it's not just about the problems and their desires for me. To me, it's ultimately to the values, to their stories, and what's their mission itself. If their mission, is not really very ethical, or the mission is something that's a bit sketchy, but I'm not very sure what their mission is, then all the more I wouldn't want to work with them, because to me, that shows that they're not very, very purpose driven. And when one is not very purpose driven, they kind of give up somewhere along the line. And that's what I've seen for my non-ideal clients itself. So I think to me, it's a very clear-cut case. Not so much of like, I know my own Golden talks about the ladder itself. I think that's pretty good ladder itself. To me, I think it's a very clear-cut case of whether they're qualified or they're not qualified. And if they're not qualified, I don't want to work with them. And I don't really serve in terms of low-ticket offers to me, because most of my cash is made through high ticket. And that's where most of my time is. And that's where I just have to focus on the one thing because it's doing very well. And that's ultimately what we focus at. So I mean, if you're doing low ticket offers, sure, but I'll say that isn't really making the best use of your organic traffic. Because when it comes to organic traffic itself, you don't really have a lot of traffic to begin with. Unless you have a podcast and you have thousands of followers, and somehow you build a follower base, kind of like what we've done itself. Then sure, then good. You know what? You can do a lot of low ticket. But even if you can see, right, I don't really dabble or dive into low ticket. Simple reason. If you're gonna sell like a $7 offers, it takes you like, I don't know how many how many purchases does it take to do
it's
like
about
a
the same
2.5K?
amount of time as it would take you to sell a $7 offer as it would take you to sell a $2,500 offer. So there's the logic there, right?
Exactly.
It's like if you can sell 2.5, why would you sell 7? So there's some fundamental things that I think you've spoken about today that are very ingrained in what you do, Darius, which is, really understanding what your mission is. And this is a piece of advice I suppose we would give everybody is, when you're starting, whether you're starting out or whether you're even, down the track, but maybe things are not going as well as you want them to, and you're seeking and searching for some solutions. These are some fundamental things that you can do, is to go back to the foundational things that make a real difference in your business. And that is to understand, what is your mission? What are the values that you hold? And what are some of the things in your story that would be really useful for you to be able to share? Because like Darius has said, and I love this part where you said, look, people don't follow you because they like you, or they don't buy from you because they like you. They buy because they are like you. And that's a very, very big difference between I just like that person or I'm actually like that person. Because when they are like you and you have paved the path before them, it's much, much easier for you to be able to share with them your story, your information, your pathway, your journey, your strategies, your tactics that will actually help them move forward on that path a lot quicker than they would if they were trying to kind of do a zigzag and be all over the place. So that's the first thing I would say. The other thing that I've picked up from Darius, which is very, very clear, is that he has one focus, focusing on just one thing. And you don't and look, this is coming from somebody who owns a website and funnel building SaaS product. Like I'm the owner of that. So funnels and websites, fantastic. But like Darius says, you can dial this back to something extremely simple. And he simply gets on a call with people and determines, do they align with his mission, their values, and do their origin story match up? If it's a match, you move forward. If it's not a match, well, you can sever the ties. You can maybe point them in another direction for somebody else who is better suited to them, and allow them to go on a journey with somebody else who does have those same mission, values, and origin story that they want and that they need to be able to propel them forward. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a bind, because you're dealing with clients that are not aligned to you, and they always take more time. It's that the Pareto's is that calculation where he says 80-20, 80% of your time actually gets spent on mostly your unprofitable clients, and 20% of your time gets spent on those really profitable ones. So we need to make sure that we make the switch on that. So now I want to go to you mentioned in your conversation that we had earlier and in your bio that and I gather this is because you've been burnt by this, but there was a time where you said, I'm never going to touch ads again in my life. Like organic is the way to go. So let's go down the path of maybe why that is the case and what are some simple steps that people can do to help them get on the pathway and create this organic traffic that makes such a difference. Like what would the steps that they would need to take? What are some of the things that they can do, maybe even this afternoon, straight after this conversation, that they can actually just go away and start implementing? Because we know, like you mentioned earlier, most people will go away to a rah motivational seminar, learn a whole lot of stuff, do it for a couple of days, and then it just peters off and never to be seen again, and then wonder why they haven't got, wonder why they're looking in their wallet and it's the cupboard is bare, so to speak. So what are some of the things that they can do today?
Okay, Ken, awesome. I think I just answered the question you had previously before that as well. You're asking why is it that got me to never touch ads again, right? So ultimately, that became my mission. That became my mission, right? Because I realized that, I didn't have cash to get ads. I mean, now I'm in a very, very good position to hire multiple agencies and things like that. But I'm not gonna hire multiple agencies instead. But in fact, I got friends that do Commerce Club winners itself, and I always tell them that if I ever not have this mission, which I'll never not have, but I'll still have this mission all the way until I die, right? So the thing is, if I never had this mission, I'll probably easily pay 3 to 5K itself to an agency, help us agency to run me ads itself. But the truth is that then that becomes a little bit easy. The journey becomes a little bit easy. Why? Because pretty much you have heard a lot from people, right? From 0 to 6 figures, you can go and hit organically, right? From 6 to 7 figures, maybe you want to go and start using ads to scale from 6 to 7. That's a lot quicker and a faster way itself. And then from 7 to 8, I'm not sure if you heard anyone that did organically from 7 to 8, right? I don't think I heard someone like that in the industry as well. You can tell me if you do. And so I realized that, hey, you know what? If the market doesn't have anyone that did totally organically from 0 all the way to 8, I'm gonna be the first person. And the truth is that the easy way out for me would just be to let me go and spend on ads. Since I already got capital itself, I want to amplify this, right? I can go and spend on ads itself. And instead of creatively looking at what I have and to take the boundaries and push the boundaries even further. And that's when I realized that I knew what my mission was. My mission was to really make sure that all the other experts out there who are teaching or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, you've probably seen, right, a lot of experts in the market, and some stick around for a few years, some stick around for decades. And you can tell the huge difference between those that stick around for decades and those that stick around for years. The one that stick around for years, most likely they just copy whatever the people in the decades do, right? And then they just try to make up their own strategy and their own thing itself. And then they try to dabble around, get a few clients, and then they realize, oh man, it's not sustainable. Why? Because a few weeks they have a client, a few weeks they don't have a client at all, right? And then there's no predictability in the business itself. And one thing I always say is that if you don't have predictability in a business, it's not a business. It's a side hustle. If your business isn't boringly predictably getting clients every week, it's not a business, it's a side hustle. It just means that you're testing out a ton of different things and not working on what you said just now, right? 20/80, which is not focusing on the needle movers that makes the biggest difference in your business itself. So to me, at the end of the day, my mission was quite simple. I want to hit from 0 to 8 organically itself. And to me, it was making sure that everyone else in the market raised their standards. Because to me, I realized that the reason why I got burnt by certain experts or causes itself is because their strategies are kind of outdated, right? They kind of sit at the top. And because they're all the way at the top, it's not like someone's going to challenge them and go like, hey, you know what? You're going to raise your standards at the top itself. Now, I know other people have the mission of like, oh, let me go and create a ripple effect by helping people at the bottom so that the people at the bottom can empower themselves and they help other people as well, right? That's usually the mission of most people itself. And I realized that, okay, you know what? The bottom doesn't really work. Why? Because if at the top, right, we have so many people that are teaching things that aren't exactly very relevant, things that may be a little bit outdated, they don't go and update their course every single year. They don't really have very high standards because once they hit that point, they become a little bit, I won't say complacent, but I'll say that, you know what, they kind of find it as, okay, I think where I'm at, I got some successes for my clients, some not successes for my clients. I win and take, right? I'll win and take. I'll lose some, I'll win some myself. To me, I want to make sure my clients always win. And that's why I can't say I have 100% client results because I'm legally binded not to say that. But I have a 99.9% client results rate in terms of whatever they invested with us itself. And the reason is very simple. I want to make sure that I raise the standards of the industry, of every industry itself, and make sure that the leaders at the top will continuously re-innovate and reinvent a greater and higher standards for their whole business practice and their strategies and the techniques that they go about teaching a lot of their clients itself. So that became my mission itself. And then going on to what you can do organically, right? Because you talk about few steps, right? I think first of all, now linking back to the whole mission itself, when you understand what your mission, and you might be thinking, wow, okay, Darius, your mission seems pretty bold itself. Instead of targeting the people that are starting out, you're targeting all the leaders at the top, right? And that's why I always love to work with people that are higher than me even, because that's when I know that they want to challenge their standards and raise to the next level. I'm in for that as well. And so a lot of people always think that, I need to have a very grand and bold mission for me to start. Now, I'll say you won't need a grand and bold mission itself, but you do need some sort of mission. The reason why you embark on the journey. My question will be like, why is it that you embark on the journey in the first place? Right? And when you know what is your values, you know your mission, you know your stories. I think there are multiple things as well. You know what your beliefs, right? A few things I'm not touching on, vision as well. Right? I think if you know these 5 things, vision, mission, purpose, values, beliefs, 5 things I always touch on. Then that's when I'll say the easiest thing for you to go about doing is to go about posting content, right? Based on these 5 things. I think a lot of people are too caught up with their whole thing, I need to provide a lot of value. And then my question to you is, what is value? What is value? Right? Then people start saying that, value is when I help my clients solve their problem. And then usually that's probably the answer they will get, right? Value is when my content can help my clients solve the answer. True, it's good that your content does help your client solve a problem. But then my next question is, so when is your client going to work with you? Or are you just going to keep giving value and all the way? I'm not saying that, you don't give value yourself. I'm a huge believer in giving value. In fact, I always give value first before my client works with me. In fact, all my clients themselves receive a certain form of value, whether it's through a training, whether it's through a guide, whether it's through a no bullshit like checklist itself that I give them. And pretty much before they join me, they receive some form of value. Now, I'm not saying that, don't give value. I'm saying that in terms of the value that I'm giving, how valuable it is. Because a lot of people think that, I put out content and it's super valuable itself. A lot of people are going to read it and a lot of people are going to take action. Yeah, think about it. When was the last time you look at the content and you go like, shit, this is so good, and you decided like, you know what, I'm gonna go and take action right now and I'm gonna keep doing it again and again. Tell me if you have ever had an experience like that. Most likely not. Most likely not. Maybe you get inspired a little and you got an idea and maybe you execute once and that's all you get from it. Right, and that's ultimately you get from it. And that's why, to me, I think the greatest PT will always be us thinking that, hey, you know what, if we put out a lot of content, people are going to get freaking inspired, they're going to get mind blown, and they're going to take action. In fact, the worst performing posts, right, for my clients and me itself, every time when we go and look at it, are those, right, where we try to blow the minds of our audience itself. We try to be really, really smart. Right, we really want to like deliver them a lot of value, give them a huge and great insight itself, and then the content just totally bomb. Not really a lot of reach. People didn't really like it. People didn't really comment much. I was like thinking, what the hell? This is like. When I was looking at one of my clients' posts, it was a fascination to me. I was like, what the hell? This is what people will pay for in courses itself. It was a really, really great piece of content. It was like top 10 things for something. I can't remember it is. But I remember it was really very valuable because these are things that you don't really get from articles. It was that great. And I just look at it, I was like, okay, so you're telling me that a post of you, right, when you were young, got you more likes, more engagement, more people learning than the post of you telling people top 10 things that they're going to focus on. I'm like, that's quite interesting, right? And so I dived into this, and that was when I realized that ultimately, sure, you can give value, but give a balance of it. Because you giving value every single day is gonna get very sickening for your for your audience itself. Ultimately, we come onto social media for one very sole reason. We come onto social media to relax. For those people who are basically consumers, people who are looking to buy itself, they come to social media to relax. They didn't really come to social media for business, right? And knowingly, right, they go from consumers to actually realizing, hey, you know what, I can do business on social media, right? And the truth is, it still remains the same thing, that most of the time when we go onto social media, we don't really use it for the sole purpose of business. we still use it more for relaxation itself. We use it for interaction with people. We use it for engagement for people. So you talk about how do I really go about organic wise, right? I think a lot of people nowadays are teaching like DMs and things like that, where well, you add a friend itself, and the first thing you do is like you ask them, hey, how's your day? I saw that you're a coach. Are you a coach? Right? How's it going? Right? And immediately I go like, okay, what the hell, man? Like, let's be honest. I think all of us have gotten some sort of message in our DMs, right?
Daily.
And we look at it and we don't even bother opening it because we kind of know what the person is gonna say already. We just don't bother to even open it, right? And we get DMs like this every single day itself. And so the thing is, it's not really about adding friends and just like DMing it first. To me, it's a lot about connecting with people. And the question is, how do you really connect with people? Because people always say that, you can connect with people just by asking them, hey, how's their day going and things like that. But it sort of become a robotic and automatic message that people know how to filter out already. Right? In an era where you got to keep improving on what you do. But if not, you're gonna have outdated messages like this. How's it going? How's your day?
It's quite. I'm having a bit of a giggle because you're absolutely right. Like here's a classic example, right? So, I put out a lot of how-to content. I share a lot of strategies, tactics, etc. And often you can put out something that's really awesome, and it gets crickets. I post up that my storage cage downstairs got broken into, and all of a sudden that my like newsfeed is absolutely chock-a-block with all of these people that are like, oh my god, I didn't even realize I was still even seeing my information. So I want to go down this path now, because that is a can be a big problem for people that are trying to do organic. So I want to get I'm going to ask you some questions about like what sort of stuff can we post, because everybody will ask that question, is like, well, what exactly should I post? Like, what are the types of organic posts and traffic that do attract the right sort of people? So that would be that would be one question. But the second thing that I wanted to ask you about was like the algorithms. So we know that, the algorithms have changed significantly over the last few years, where organic has sort of been, if you're not paying for it, you're probably not going to get a lot of airtime. What are some of the things that you can do to really start to hack, to massage or stimulate the algorithm to ensure that your messaging and your organic traffic is actually getting the airtime that it deserves?
Okay, awesome. You want me to start with the first question first or the second question?
Please, either.
Okay, let me recall back what was the first question. The first question was about
type of content? Best type of content, yeah. Okay, so a lot of people get stuck here, right?
Awesome. So I'll start with the algorithm first, because I think that will link up to the content itself. So I think with algorithm itself, back then in when I was growth hacking my days, right, I was pretty much spending most of the time reading like policies. It was that boring. Maybe people were thinking like, policies, are you for your Facebook policies, Facebook disclaimers and things like that. I was reading the fine print, right? The things that you don't really want to read, I was reading it. I mean, nowadays I still do read from time to time itself, although I just get my team to read and then let me know what's something new about it, rather than me doing it. But ultimately, I think one thing about the algorithm is it's always going to change. It's always going to change. You're going to ask me, every single podcast is going to ask me, what's the new updates for the algorithm itself? And I always got something new to say. And the truth is, who knows, by the time maybe you hear this podcast, you watch this podcast, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they decide to come out with a new algorithm and they say, hey, you know what, I heard what Darius say, and I'm going to change the algorithm because he said it. Right? I mean, I have no idea what the social media platforms are going to do, because it's not controlled by us. And a lot of times I realize that when focusing on the algorithm itself, we're focusing on something that cannot be controlled, and something that cannot be controlled by us. And I always like to look at what can be influenced, what can be controlled, and what cannot be controlled. And the truth is, algorithm cannot be controlled by us itself. We have little influence over algorithms itself. People might think, oh wait, aren't you able to influence a little by doing some things that algorithm wants? That's kind of true. But then my next question is, would you be willing to do it? Okay. For example, let's say in terms of Instagram, because we get quite a lot of client results in terms of both Instagram and Facebook are our biggest lead generators and client results that we get as well. Let's say in terms of Instagram, the thing that's working most right now is Reels, which is the
Mm-hmm.
equivalent for TikTok. Now, my question for you is: are you gonna start doing Reels? Is Reels something that is of personality to you? It's something that I will best be able to express myself through a Reel itself. So for some people, it's not. For some people, they aren't really extroverts. They're more of introverts themselves. They don't really feel that it's that comfortable in terms of Reels. They don't think, I'm gonna come up idea every day, maybe to dance or to like point here, point there, and things like that. What they do in Reels. It's just not for some people, right? And the thing is, we
Mm-hmm.
can try to force feed it down, or we can psycho ourselves by saying, hey, you know what? We're gonna do things that are uncomfortable. We're gonna do things that
Uh-huh.
we aren't used at. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not so much of just uncomfortability and growing to the next level. To me, right, it's what works best for you. What works best for you. And that boils down to what social media channel you use as well. Some people, clients are located in LinkedIn. Some clients are located in Facebook. Some are in IG itself. And ultimately, if you ask my clients itself, I never ever tell them that, hey, you know what, all of y'all should go and nail down on IG itself and milk the crap out of it. I never tell my clients to say, you know what, use Facebook until it dies or whatever it is. To me, ultimately, it's understanding what my client is, and that's why we are very personalized in that way. Even though we got dozens of clients itself, we make sure that it's personalized strategy in that form, where we make sure and we understand what kind of channel you're targeting first in the first place itself. So when it comes to algorithm, it really boils back down to what channel are you currently using right now. So I'm gonna just drop a few algorithm tips or hacks itself. To be very honest, if you're hearing this right now, I'm not sure if you're gonna implement this or not. And that's why I spend a lot more time talking about, the algorithm isn't really the main thing that you want to be concerned of. But let's say in terms of Instagram. Now, Instagram, I foresee carousels. I foresee carousels in terms of the 10 slide carousels. I'm not sure if any of you use 10 slide carousels. I foresee carousels to be dropping because people don't really want to swipe too much on Instagram. And there's a lot of carousels too much flooded with the same amount of content itself. So when something is being overused in the market, that's why I always talk about raising your standards, being updated, right? Never ever giving people outdated things. You always want to do something that's a lot better, because in our industry right now, it changes so fast that what is working 6 months or 1 year ago is not working right now. So things like carousels aren't working as well anymore. The ones that do work best right now is infographics. Infographics do extremely well because you pack everything and you make it extremely concise itself. So that's that. I can go a lot of details into what makes an infographic works, but to be very honest, I don't think it's best for me to go through this because I don't think I have a lot of time in that. And there'll be too many things to go through. So I'm just going to give an overview. 10 size carousels will be fading away a little bit sooner. You will be looking at more of like a 3 slide, 4 slide, 5 slide carousel itself. It's a lot more concise. You realize that content now go into more concise and more in-depth. Right? The question right now is, how can you make something concise yet in-depth? Why? Because we have so many content coming out on social media. The worst thing that happened was when COVID hit. The people that you didn't see on social media suddenly start appearing onto social media. And what happened next? They started posting content on social media, and you realize that they post a lot of mediocre content. And when you realize that they post a lot of mediocre content, what happens? The whole social media feed is flooded with mediocre content. Everyone's just trying to copy each other. It's a copycat flood. Hey, I see something great, I'm going to copy this. And everyone else just keep copying one another. And I'm like, well, okay, this is a huge flood itself. Right? Ultimately, nowadays it's all about how can you make it concise and you still can make it in-depth at the same time. And ultimately, another point is also to take note is in terms of entertainment, which I think in terms of entertainment is a little bit harder to do because you really have to understand your personality and how you interact with others, right? For me, I think through this podcast, I can tell I'm a very direct, no bullshit, extremely transparent kind of person. That's how I interact with my clients itself. That's how I interact with my followers itself. They enjoy it rather than I guess my followers don't really like people that beat around the bush, right, in that sense. So moving on to other platforms itself. So Instagram itself, infographics rising, Reels also rising because algorithm favors that. Whatever there's a newest feature for Instagram, Instagram will always favor that, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, is whether you want to do Reels, right? When it comes to Facebook itself, I think Facebook itself, I mean, we kind of know that organic in terms of page is long dead. I don't even bother focusing on my page itself. If you ever find my page only has probably like 9 or 10 likes itself. I don't really care. And I've been thinking, holy crap, this guy like builds a multi-six-figure business just without a fan page. Yeah, you don't need it. A lot of people tend to get too obsessed over details that don't matter at all. And so ultimately, to me, in terms of Facebook itself, focusing on Facebook profile, I know that a lot of people are going Facebook groups
Mm-hmm.
and communities itself. It's getting a bit saturated in that sense itself. I'll say, sure, go ahead and build a Facebook group and community itself, but know what your priorities. Once again, know what your priorities. Know where your audience and where your clients are hanging out. Because there are some clients that I told them that, hey, you know what, you don't have to build a Facebook group and community. Why? Because they're already getting one form of client from one channel itself. Just whack the crap out of it. And that's where you want to be focusing most of the time on. Once again, a business needs to be predictable every single month. It's supposed to get a certain number of clients itself, 4, 6, 8, 10 clients every single month coming in, paying you retainer of 1K, 2K every month itself. That's what you want to be doing, right? And I think in TikTok itself, the algorithm itself is always changing in TikTok. Or to be very honest, that's one thing that no one can really crack in terms of TikTok. I can say something honestly right now, and 1 week later it's gonna change. But ultimately, my biggest tip for TikTok, I'm not really a big user of TikTok itself. I think I got 200 followers on TikTok. The honest truth is, after producing dozens of videos on TikToks, I'll just say follow the trend. Follow the trend, use trendy music. That's what's gonna work. Then my question is, do you want to use trendy music and appear in the face of it? Right? If it's not you, don't do it. Right? Don't force yourself to do it just because people have to say you have to go onto TikTok and it's a rising platform. You still can get clients on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other places itself. LinkedIn, with regards to algorithm, I'm honestly not too fond of it, because ultimately, to me, I think LinkedIn is still a platform that that has a lot of leverage to grow. And if your clients on LinkedIn, I highly encourage you to go into LinkedIn. It has quite a lot of room for it to grow. I don't see it as extremely saturated to the point like Facebook or where Instagram is coming to at a point in time itself. So I'll say LinkedIn is still a good platform to go into it. I don't think you should be too concerned with algorithm. And that's why I'm going to focus and answer that first question of your in terms of content. Because at the end of the day, right, you can focus all you want on algorithms. And that's what I did. That's why I did my growth hacking day. Focus every day about algorithms. I realized at the end of the day, people won't buy if your content is going to be shit.
Yeah.
If your content is shit, if your content isn't something that's relevant, right, people are not going to buy itself. And so I'm going to give you 3 pillars to take note of when it comes to content itself. Ultimately, just take note that you can care all in the world about algorithm. But if your content is bad, no algorithm is going to save it. No algorithm is going to save that bad content of yours. Yeah. So to me, I focus a lot more about what's the content that you produce. And to me, it's also not about the quantity of content, but it's more of the quality. Now, I heard a lot of people, I know a lot of people argue about, whether it's quantity and quality itself. To me, the reason why I say it's quality is very simple, right? If, let's say right now, you yourself are doing content creation. I don't do content creation anymore. But if you yourself right now, you're doing content creation, you want to ask yourself, how many hours do you want to be spending on content creation itself? And how many clients is it generating for you? Okay, most likely, if it's not generating clients, it's because of the content that you put out in the first place. But if you're producing one content every single day, if you look at my Facebook page, once again, my Facebook profile, right, I post like 1 time a week itself. How am I able to get clients every week? But if you look at Instagram itself, Instagram I post more often. Instagram I post about 3 times a week itself. I think my schedule is 3 times a week itself. Right. And the truth is, you don't have to post every single day. I know a lot of people say, you don't post every day, you just keep posting again and again. Then my question is, how many hours do you really want to spend on content creation itself? I'll say a good start off point, right? If you're posting, it's 3 times a week. That's good enough already. 2 times a week is also good enough. Right. And if you're not used to posting 1 time a week, it's good enough. Right? Don't be too hard on yourself. I know I come in and I talk a lot about raising your standards, and I'm pretty hardcore in terms of mastery. But if you're starting out, give yourself the leeway to get used to posting in the first place before you go on. But let's talk about the 3 pillars now, so I can dive a little bit deeper into each. So first of all, it's about creating relatable content. And creating relatable content, once again, boils down to the 5 things I talk about: your vision, your mission, your purpose, your values, and your belief itself. Now, a lot of people tend to give too much of value and talk nothing about themselves. And when you talk nothing about yourself, that's when I cannot relate to you. And the truth is, at the end of the day, right, when you're not really at the 7-figure or 8-figure mark itself, I would say that our businesses are kind of similar. Sure, there are differentiators. There are like things like what you would call USP, unique mechanism, and things like that. How we do things are different. Right? But at the end of the day, right, in terms of strategies, right, it won't really be too different from other people itself. Maybe if you have a system like what we have itself, maybe that will be completely different. Or if you have a software itself, that will be completely different, right? But when it comes to service-based owners itself, when you're starting out, okay, most of the time, you don't really have a lot of differentiators with your competitors itself. The only reason why someone buys to you most of the time is because of you. They don't really just buy into your solution. Because the truth is, there might be quite a lot of other people who are similar to you itself. And the reason why they buy from you is because of you. It's not really because, your solution is like the best. They just trust your solution enough and they trust you enough to go, hey, you know what? I like you, I'm going to buy to you. So I think a lot of people are working on like building trust for their solution, but not building trust on themselves itself.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing that's missing. And so if you're missing the components of vision, mission, purpose, values, and belief itself, and you just keep talking about, hey, 3 things to do, hey, 3 tips, hey, 3 resources, hey, 10 things to do, hey, you know what, this is what you have to do in your business, man. And you just keep talking about value. Sooner or later, you will have people just scrolling past your post because they look at it and go, okay, it's kind of, I kind of see this too many times.
Becomes vanilla, same.
Yeah, it becomes vanilla itself, right? And that's the truth. The truth is that at the end of the day, if you don't talk about yourself itself, no one's going to talk about you. If you don't talk about yourself, no one's going to talk about you. You might be thinking, oh wait, but Gary Vee always tells me value. Now think about it. If you look at Gary Vee's content, a lot of it are his stories. A lot of it are his day-to-day happenings. A lot of it is him sharing his values, him sharing his beliefs, things like, oh, college is shit, you shouldn't go to college. Those are his beliefs. Right? And those people will say, hey, college is shit. They will agree with him and they'll go like, hey, you know what? Well, Gary Vee is someone I look up to. Why? Simply because we have similar values, similar beliefs itself, right? And when we have similar values and beliefs, it's a lot easier to get a client that way. It's a lot easier to close as well. The clients that are easiest to close are the ones that have similar values, similar beliefs in that sense, and they want to work with you because they go, hey, you know what? I'm like you. Let's go on a journey together, right? And you don't really have much conflicts. You don't have disagreements. Why? Same values, similar beliefs. I won't say we always have same beliefs. We most likely have same values, but we won't always have similar beliefs. That's one thing I'll say, because beliefs are something that everyone have kind of different, sort of the same, but a little bit different in terms of beliefs itself. But values, most likely will have the same values itself. So that's one thing when it comes to content, creating 5 of that in terms of relatability and relevancy. Second thing is in terms of building value content itself. Like what you talk about. And building value content is simply, to me, it's about 4 things to talk about. It's about moving people, about beliefs about your solution, moving people about beliefs of solution. That's one thing. And moving beliefs about themselves. Moving beliefs about themselves. Not about us, but themselves itself. I think these are 2 value hitters that you want to hit. Simple reason is that a lot of people are always trying to move people into like what kind of belief that they want to have. For example, I want them to believe that they can do it. I want them to believe that they're going to use my service to do well. I want them to believe that they have to, for example, for me, I want them to believe that they're going to do organic marketing and traffic itself to hit 6-figure and multi-6 figures, right? And people always look at, okay, let me push them to this belief. Let me push them to this belief. And they try to create content so you can push them to the belief. But a lot of people don't understand that beliefs are not made overnight. Beliefs are not made just on one post. And the truth is, we're trying to build a belief when we haven't even destroyed their current belief at the moment, their current limiting belief. I'm not saying destroy empowering belief, okay? Don't go about destroying other people empowering belief. But whatever false belief they have at the moment, they do have a set of false beliefs. And people are too focused on what kind of belief that they want to have, when you should be starting from the point of false belief. Just think of it like bricks, okay? In order for you to build a new building, you currently have an old building that's kind of worn out and it looks like it's going to collapse. Your whole goal is to make sure that you collapse the building itself first. Because if right now I haven't collapsed this building, I can't build another building. I'm not able to build another building, right? So understand that in your post itself, you got to destroy the limiting beliefs first, rather than try to keep on pushing them. Oh, okay, you know what? You gotta believe in organic marketing. You gotta believe in organic traffic. You gotta believe in organic system. This is the best thing for you. That's pretty much what people will push again. I'm saying in my context, but this is what people will keep pushing, right? But first of all, you have to understand the concepts of building buildings, right? If you want to build a building first, you gotta destroy the old building. You gotta destroy the old and not say very useful building. And when you destroy that false belief, that's where you can start building another belief. And one thing about belief is that we do not build beliefs on like a 1-day basis or 2-day basis. It's based on a period of time. And this is what I call perceptions. The more number of times you give them a perception of what they should believe in, that's when they can build a belief. A belief is stacked, right? based on the number of similar perceptions that they see again and again and again. For example, let's say we go into McDonald's itself. Just imagine if the first time you go into McDonald's, right? You go into McDonald's and you eat a burger. You eat the burger itself and you realize that it's bad. What happens now? Your belief is that, oh, this McDonald's burgers is bad itself. This is your belief right now. And then your friend comes in and say, you know what? The McDonald's burgers are pretty good. And you go like, maybe. And then you realize that it takes off one brick away from your pile because it's slowly dismantling. And then maybe a few other friends come on to you and say that, hey, actually McDonald's burgers are pretty good. They're not that bad. And I say, oh, okay, maybe I got a false perception of what I had previously. And now this belief that you previously believed of is kind of destroying itself. And then you start to build a new one. And when you start building a new one, but what happens is that now you're going to go into McDonald's again. Then the question is, what happens if McDonald's still serves you a burger that's bad? Oh, damn. You're going to go back to having an even stronger false belief itself. Right? And the thing is, we think that, oh, we can build this building, right, in a one-day span. But the truth is, serving a good burger again and again and again and again until it builds what? A reputation. You build a reputation for yourself. You build a reputation for clients itself that, hey, I'm pretty freaking great at what I do. And I'm sure I can get results with you itself. And you know what? If you believe in what I do itself, let's work together. But the truth is, you only reach this point where you start breaking down people's false limiting belief of whatever it is that they have about themselves or they have in the market itself. The things that they can't, like they say, oh, I can't do this. This is too complicated. Oh, I can't. I'm a tech noob. Oh, I'm a design noob. I'm not good at creating content. I'm not good at English. But I'm not good at whatever it is. Right? And people have a lot of limiting beliefs in that sense. And if you don't destroy the limiting beliefs first, you won't be able to build the belief of, oh, your solution is great. Oh, you are great yourself. It all starts off from where they are at. And to me, that's the simplicity of business. The simplicity of business is going from problem to promise. Going from problem to promise. A lot of people are trying to push people to promise when they haven't even solved the problem yet. Right? And we're like,
exactly
wait, go for the promise, go for the promise, go for the solution. When currently right now we have these false beliefs, right? We have things that we're doing right now that's not working. We're not acknowledging it. Right? And if we don't acknowledge it, we will never ever take something new in the first place. And even if we take that something new, it will turn out to be something that it doesn't work. Simply reason because we haven't acknowledged and we haven't understood and we haven't fully embraced that, hey, these are the things that don't work. I should stay clear away from them. Now let's go and look at things that do work. And if you cannot tackle down things that don't work, things that are limiting belief, things that hold people back, it's hard to push them to what works.
That's
so that's
right.
ultimately
You
to
just
me
don't
when it
get the transformation, right? They don't get the transformation that they need to then be able to take that next step. I think something that you said that was really important is this part of like understanding where the person is at, like where are they starting from. So you talked about it being a problem and then taking them to the promised land. So if you think about I sort of look at that like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, and on the other side of that, there's a great divide between me and the other side. And I'm wondering, how the heck am I going to get across there? And my belief system is like, I can't get over there. I can't make the leap from where I am right now to the other side. But then when I start breaking down my false belief, which you might not be able to get there by just taking a leap and jumping with no kind of supporting apparatus to get you across that great divide. But what if I put you in a harness and you could what do we call it, a flying fox, you could fly, you could do a zip line and you could get to the other side, or you walk 2 meters down the road and or down the cliff and there's actually a bridge, you could walk across it there. So when you start actually allowing people to understand, okay, well, this is where I'm at right now, this is the belief that you currently have, but what if this were to be true? What if you could actually just take one step out and you were on a bridge that was very secure, that could take you from one side of the bridge to the other? Is your belief now changed from I can never get to the other side of this great divide to actually I can, and all I have to do is just put one foot in front of the other and make my way, might be slowly but surely, across to the other side? All of a sudden, the belief that we had previously, which was, Jesus, I'm stuck on this side of the cliff and I need to be on the other side because that's the promised land over there. I can never get there. I just cannot jump that far. Now becomes, actually, it's very possible. If only, and I'm going to go back to this that you'd mentioned earlier, because this is something that I think has come up time and time again in today's discussion, is our never to forget that we have the ability to innovate. And if you continue to innovate and you continue to think about how can I raise the bar, how can I do things a little bit differently, what else is possible, how can I make this actually happen, then all of a sudden the self-limiting belief that you had now becomes a far distant, speckled memory in our memory banks, because now we have dismantled that belief and we've reinstilled a new belief that says actually it is possible, but just maybe I have to do it in a slightly different way. So I love the fact that you're talking about this concept, and in my world, when we're talking about the different types of content, and like we've tried many a time, and even our clients have come to us and have done loads and loads of, I'm going to say in inverted commas, value added style content, which is like how to. And there is absolutely a place and a need for that, the educational style content, but it's not the be all and end all. And if you continue to do that on the regular, and I think this might have even been in your opening statement, that was like, if you're doing that all the time, you're not giving your people any reason to want to continue to do business with you down the track. Why? Because you're just going to keep fronting up and giving them everything that they need on a platter for free, anytime that they want it. And we all know that when you do it that way, most people just don't, they consume it, but they won't implement it. Very, very big difference. And therefore they don't actually get a result. So that's the first piece of content that I talk a lot about, is like, is the how to, but making it educational and just having it, a portion of the time, 30% thereabouts. Then the other that you've just spoken about is what we would call belief adjusters. So understanding what is our ideal, our dream client, what are some of the things that are holding them back? What are some of the beliefs that they currently have that are actually limiting their ability to be able to move forward? What myths, what stories are they telling themselves over and over and over again that keep them stuck? When you understand those, you can then start to think about, well, what is the new belief? What is the new thing that you need them to believe or to embed that will actually give them the opportunity to actually see the bridge that's in front of them and be able to have the confidence and the courage to take the very first step? And then that other piece of content which you spoke about, which is the relatable, so the inspirational, the motivational, the origin stories, the things, the pitfalls, the challenges, the falling over and the skins on the knees, all of those moments that we need to be sharing with our people, because then it shows to them they are just like me. I fell over like that too, but I watched Darius. He fell over, he was able to get up and he carried on, and now look at what he's doing. So if only, when I'm down and feeling down and out, if I can pick myself up and I can follow the path that Darius had, then surely I've got a much better chance of being successful if I follow his lead. And that's really the concept that you're talking about today, which, like I said, is right up my alley, because that's the same sort of concepts that we talk about often in terms of using what we call the ACE method. So building your authority, building content that's really connects with your audience. And then the E in the ACE method is building, giving yourself enough exposure with the type of content, how often you build your content, and then also making it simple for you so that you're not having to. I think you mentioned this earlier. How many hours do you want to be spending doing this? Do you want to spend your entire life just posting on social media, or do you want to be doing it a couple of hours a week and actually getting some really good results that turns into not just clients, but I don't know about you, but often when we're working with people, they end up like amazing friends, lifelong friends that often my clients end up coming and staying at my house because we've become just such good friends. And again, one of the a lot of people would say don't mix your friends and your business together. I want to call BS on that, because I think a lot of the time, when you can do it this way, that connection is just built, that is very, very strong, and you have an absolute bond with them that requires you to always have their best interests at heart, and they have your best interests at heart too. So it's kind of like this becomes a very, I want to say, symbiotic relationship where you're just working well together. So that's kind of, and I think we're on the same wavelength when we're talking about this different, the styles of content and the way in which that's that's done. Before we dial out today, Darius, is there anything else that you think is like super important to share with our audience today that you think is, if they were to walk away with one thing today that they could go away and implement, I'm going to say implement, not just know about, and this is more a message for the audience, like we can give you information, but the information is only good and only useful for you if you actually implement it. So what would be one thing that you would say to our audience today that they could actually implement that may make a difference to their business from today onwards?
Okay, Kat. I think I'll just follow up with the last type of content I'll talk about. And I
Yeah.
think that's highly implementable for everyone out there. So I think the last type of content itself is what we call trustworthiness. Now, trustworthiness is only built based on time, right? We all agree trust can only be built based on time and based on the actions that you took. But ultimately, we realize that trust is based on two scientific effects itself. First of all, it's called a repetition effect. Second of all, it's called the network effect. Okay, I'll explain the repetition effect first. Now, understand that when it comes to building a new memory, when you want to build a new memory of what Tracy is like, for example, I never met Tracy before. So currently, we have neurons in our head, and in order to form a new memory, it requires one neuron to connect with another neuron. This is what we call a neural connection itself. So, for example, creating a new memory is pretty much having an old memory linked to a new memory. For example, right now I know Tracy Wilson. Right, that's my old memory. And now I realize, hey, the new information, you know what, Tracy Wilson is very warm, she's very lighthearted, she's very exciting, she's very bubbly, she's very energizing, right? And so that's where I realized, hey, I got new information about Tracy Wilson. And then maybe another new information like, hey, you know what, Tracy is really a really good podcast host. Tracy Wilson has like scripts in terms of like her podcast itself. You can see that she's very well prepared when it comes to interviewing her clients herself and her guests itself. Right, and so I realized, hey, I got new information about her. And the thing is, the more I can see this same information again and again, the stronger the neural connection will be. Just think of a neural connection like a light. When I hear it one time that, hey, you know, Tracy Wilson is good at this. Now, if I hear it another time, there's another line, and another line again and again. Now, I talk about not, repeating how to value content again and again. But the truth is that in terms of value content, I think there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to value. And you'll never run out when it comes to how to and value content itself, right? Because you've got so many things that you want to share with your clients. So I'm not too worried about that. But when it comes to talking about your vision, mission, values, purpose, values, vision, mission, purpose, values, and beliefs itself, there is no short or there is no lack of repetition in that. Because when I see on social media, a lot of people like to say, hey, I'm doing this today. Hey, I'm doing that today. And every single day, it seems like they're doing different things. And at the end of the day, right, if I look at a very good measurement is if I look at your past 7 days on your stories itself, Facebook stories, Instagram stories. If I look at your stories itself and I see that 7 days you're doing totally different things every day, I have no idea why it is that you're great at. And as a new follower, someone that's coming to you, you'll be like, the repetition effect is not strong. Why? Because right now I'm just learning a lot of things, but I have no idea what you're really, really great at. And the thing is that we will always forget what you posted yesterday. For example, if you're going to ask your follower, just ask one of your followers now. I'm going to ask 10 of your followers. Ask them, hey, do you remember what I posted yesterday? They'll be like, they won't remember. Simply because why? It's something that was yesterday, it's something, a new information. And the truth is that if you don't use the repetition effect of creating the same neural connection again and again and again, basically saying that, hey, I'm a very direct, I'm very transparent, I commit to mastery. Commitment, mastery, vision, and love is 4 very important values of mine. And instead, what I do is I talk about my top 20 values, top 30 values. I talk about things like kindness or things like empathy. Right? Sure, they are my values itself, but that isn't my top 3 to 5 values itself. And if you're focusing on too many things, that means what I call AOTP syndrome. You're all over the place. Okay, you're all over the place, and in your client's eye, they go like, okay, I have no idea what you're doing. And this is when another law comes in. The law of average comes in. Why? Because when someone looks at you, they're going to take the average perception of who you are in the first impression. And if they realize that you're doing so many things, they're going to go like, okay, so what does she or he actually do? Right? Like, what is he actually really, really good at? And so the truth is that every single day, right, people are scared. People are scared to post on stories. So I'm getting to the point of how to. Right? People are scared on like, how do I go about posting on stories? Should I post something different? Should I post something new? Should I post something that's really exciting, like to show my life is good? The truth is just show whatever they are doing on a daily basis. 1, repetition effect. When you keep doing the same things every single day, for example, my followers know that I journal every single day. Journal morning, night. I have a shit ton of planners. I bought like 1 year planner itself. But my followers know that I learn every single day. My followers know that I show up for my clients itself. My followers will see my client results every single day because I keep posting it. I won't say every single day, but almost every day itself. I try not to flood too much of it. But they'll see it again and again on my stories, and they'll see that I'm just doing the work in and work out. Simple reason, because of repetition effect. People need to trust you and your solution. And the biggest way to trust is repetition. Repetition that, hey, I am committed to my mastery. Every single day I'm learning. Every single day I'm implementing. Every single day I'm up in the trenches for my clients itself. What I don't want to see is you going about, hey, you know what, I'm relaxing on a nice beach and everything, you know. I mean, sure, that's good. That's good if you have your vacations and things like that. But as a client itself, would you really want to work with someone that every day is on the beach? So then your question is, okay, so when does this person actually work? Right?
Yeah.
And people get too concerned about, oh, you know, it becomes too boring because I just keep talking about, oh, work again and again and again and again. And the truth is that if you don't do it, people are going to forget about it. People are going to forget about it. 1 day, 2 days later, they're going to forget about it. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days later, they're going to forget about it. That's why I say that repetition is key. Second thing is network effect. Now, network effect basically states, right, that when you have when you understand and you learn multiple new things itself, that's when you realize that you have a stronger connection. And this is what we call neural networks. Right? For example, right now, I have, for example, back to the connection of Tracy Wilson. Right? Back to Tracy itself. Let's say I realize that, oh, she's a good podcast host herself. Then I realize that, hey, you know what? Tracy actually now, she's friends with her clients. And then I realize that, oh, actually, Tracy has a blog. Tracy has this. Tracy's friends with this person. Tracy does this thing. Tracy exercises every 5 p.m. Tracy goes to the gym at every 5 p.m. or whatever, things like that. And I realized that I know more things about this person itself. And when I know more things that are connected to whatever new information it is, and it's repeated over time, that's when it forms a neural network. Why? Because it becomes trigger mechanisms. For example, let's say right now I think about, oh, you know, gym. Hey, let's go to the gym at 5 p.m. Hey, you know who does gym at 5 p.m.? Tracy does gym at 5 p.m. What happens then? You become top of mind. So understanding the top of mind is two effects: your network effect and repetition effect. Now, when I talk about network effect, then people will be like going, hey, wait, Darius, I thought you said don't talk about too many things. Yes, I said don't talk about too many things. But I talk about the key activities that you do on an every single day basis. For example, if you hit the gym at 5 p.m. every day, you do it. If you journal every single day at 8 a.m., you do it and you post a story about it. It never gets old. I have one of my clients himself every single day. He just posts himself at 5 a.m. and literally the sky is dark because I mean the sun hasn't even rise. Literally just post about the time and say, hey, good morning. Have a very, very great morning, people. And the thing is, everyone all look forward to that. Why? It kind of sets off a routine. People go like, hey, you know what? This is how he lives his life. He's a person that wakes up at 5 a.m. itself and then he just posts himself. And that's how his day goes. And every single day he goes about going to the gym. And after that, he gets his workout done. Then he serves his clients and then he has his team meetings and everything like that. People kind of understand like what his life is like. And people understand what his values, mission, vision, purpose, and beliefs itself. The 5 things that we talk about. And the truth is, the more we incorporate things that we do on a daily basis, I'm not saying that, oh, talk about every single thing, right? But talk about the key activities that you do on a daily basis. That's when you start forming a neural network in people's mind itself. For example, if people are going to think of like, hey, let's talk about organic marketing. So they think of like, oh, Darius is pretty good at organic marketing. Organic traffic, oh, Darius is pretty good at organic traffic. Now, it's the same thing when it comes to how to. Too many people are talking about too many things, right? A lot of people say, oh, you know what? I help people do their offer. I help people do their sales. I help people get better in this, that, and a lot of things. To me, I'm very clear. Organic marketing systems. Do I talk about anything else? No, I just talk about organic marketing systems. Am I good at sales? Yeah, I mean, our clients and our closing rate is above 50%, but I don't talk about that. Organic marketing systems, that's it. Every single thing is linked back to organic marketing systems. I don't go about telling people, hey, go and build your offer. Hey, go and do do on like your LinkedIn. I'm not sure what LinkedIn Live or whatever it is. To me, it's very clear. I go at organic marketing. I'll just talk about organic marketing every single day. And if you go and deviate and talk about because you think that, hey, you know, I'm good at a lot of things. Sure, you can be good at a lot of things, but then you are seen as your clients as all over the place, or you're seen to your prospects as all over the place because you keep talking about so many different things. What you do? Oh, you know, you're interview host. Oh, you're also actually you have a YouTube channel talking about something else. Oh, you actually have a LinkedIn that's talking about something else, and everything is like all over the place. You're talking about multiple different things. Get clear on one thing. If let's say the one thing that you do is help people build their podcast and monetize from it. Just talk about that. That's it. Every single day, talk about the same thing again and again and again. That's how people know that they're committed to the mastery.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm very clear. If I'm searching for a coach and mentor, because I'm ready to pay 30K, 40K easily, right, for my coach or mentor itself. When I look at them, right, and if I look at them and on a daily basis, they're doing things that are like different things again and again. And that's why I know, okay, maybe this is not a right fit for me. Why? Very simple reason. It seems like they're not really committed to that mastery of that 1 to 2 or 3 skills that they do on a daily basis again and again. And for people to work with you, they need to have that trust that, hey, you know, this person is every single day is out in the trenches, learning more about this, implementing more about this, teaching his clients this, and the clients use this exact thing and get results. Now it gets confusing when you learn different things, you implement another thing, and then your clients do another thing, and the clients' results are a totally different thing. Right? And it becomes confusing. Right? And the thing is, we have to understand that this is a very heavy effect when it comes to social media. The number one reason why people work with you is because of trust. People buy into you because they trust in you and your solution. And when that's not built over repetition of your mastery, it's hard. It's hard for people to go, hey, you know what, I want to work with this guy. Because you go like, okay, this person seems like it's all over the place. How can I follow someone that's all over the place when I'm already all over the place? Right? So one very clear thing to take note, I think for people, one very implementable thing to hop off on this podcast itself is to understand that it is fine to post repeated stories. If yesterday you post your story about you exercising, yesterday you post about you having a meeting with your team, post it again today, post it again today, post it again tomorrow, post it again the next day, post it again and again and again. Simple reason. People who follow you will like you. People who don't like you won't follow you. It's fine. You might be thinking, oh, you know, content will get boring. If it's boring for some people, then maybe they're just not the right type of people that you want to serve. That's it. Okay? So just stay true to who you are and keep repeating the same. Keep repeating in terms of the key activities in your stories. I'm not saying repeat your how-to and your value content, just to take note, because I know I talk about at the start, don't keep saying the same thing. But I'm saying that when it comes to your values, mission, vision, purpose, and beliefs, when it comes to your stories, the key activities that you do every day that shows these 5 things itself, you want to incorporate it every single day. And it's very important to get clear on it, because a lot of people aren't even clear what they do on a day-to-day basis. Ask people, oh, what's your routine like on a day-to-day basis? You go, yeah, in the morning I just wake up at like 8 a.m. and then I do some journaling and then that's it. I just go and do work. I'm like, okay, that's it. Like nothing else. What do you do in your work? But what's the work that you do on a daily basis? I'm quite sure it's very similar work that you do on a daily basis. Am I right? You hop onto your client calls, right, at a certain point of time, right? And then your clients get results on a weekly basis. They declare their wins is on a certain point of time as well. Right? And these are things that are repetitive on a weekly basis. Because why? We live based on patterns. Right? If you understand NLP, we live based on patterns. And we are always in this cycle of doing the same thing and again and again. And one very fascinating thing I realized is that 90% of the thoughts that we have today is the same of yesterday. 90% of the thoughts that we have of today is the same of yesterday. And so when we keep repeating the same thing and again, we're just getting people to understand that, hey, you know, these are the same thoughts that I'm still having. I'm still upgrading the same thoughts itself. I'm just upgrading it to a higher level. And that's exactly why you should work with me. Right? And ultimately, to me, I think the biggest takeaway they can get is to keep repeating in terms of your 5 components of who you are and talk about the key activities that you have on a daily basis. Because I have clients who literally converted 5 figures every single month, more than 10K a month, just solely through on stories. No post on the main feed at all, with 1,000 followers. 1,000 followers purely on stories, no main feed posts on Facebook or Instagram for 3 months straight. 3 months straight, 5 figures a month itself, solely through on stories. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know, it's boring. Well, let me tell you what, results say otherwise. To me, I'll just look based on the data and the results. Let
the results speak for themselves. Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, I just want to give everybody a bit of a recap on some of the stuff that we've spoken about today, because we've gone, you know, deep into a lot of different facets of organic traffic, and there's been some real nuggets that have come out of today's conversation, Darius, and I want to thank you for that. So the first thing, guys, I think I'm hearing loud and clear from Darius is to really understand, you know, what is your mission, your vision, your purpose, your values, and your beliefs, because once you understand those, then they are just going to lead into so many different areas in your business in terms of you being able to find the right clients that actually fit you so that you have a really good alignment. Secondly, they make a fantastic suite of content that you can share, sharing on a regular basis your mission, your vision, your purpose, your values, and your beliefs, so that people can align with that. The other thing that I've heard really clearly from you today is being very specific about where you want to be. So, pick your platform and really focus on that. And I'm going to say the other thing that I think you just dropped a bit of a value bomb just a couple of minutes ago, which was around stories. So just utilizing stories. And even if it's just, you make a commitment today that, and I might even try this, every single day for the next, 3 months is doing something on Facebook stories, Instagram stories. You can use Facebook Creator Studio so that you actually stream them out to both to save you a little bit of time, and just do that and share some of the content that Darius has talked about, the relatable content, the value-based content, and then the trustworthiness-based content. And let's just see what happens with that. I would love to be able to get them back, in 3 months' time, and maybe some of you guys that have actually implemented this, we can give them some feedback on how we actually went with our stories. And the other is just get going. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just realize that, you've got to start somewhere. And a good place to start is just with one post, even if it's just one a week, then you go to 2 a week, then 3 a week. And before you know it, you can get yourself a really solid content system and process that you do on the regular every day. And like he's also mentioned about, is forming those habits, forming the habits that we do on the regular to re-embed a new way of living, a new way of doing your business. And when you do that, you then start to create some level of scalability, predictability, and profitability in your business over the long term. So I want to say thank you very, very much to Darius for being here today. I know he's got a little something that he would like to give away, so I'm going to pop it up in a banner right now. So for those of you that would like some additional training from Darius, you can head on over to strategicattraction.com/training. Go there and you can download some of the training that Darius has got on his website that is available for you guys free to be able to get access to that. Go ahead, Darius.
All right, just wanted to share another thing. I think
Sure.
just updated itself. Right now, we're actually doing bi-weekly trainings in our Facebook group itself. So if you want to join our Facebook group, just go to strategicattraction.com/roadmap. I think that's an even better way to start.
Awesome.
Yeah, because ultimately,
that.
we're going to give you value right up front in that community itself. Literally, I talk about the stories, right, just now. I go a lot more in-depth in our community in terms of the repetition effect, in terms of the network effect, and I talk about the exact stories that this client of ours posts that got her a ton of sales from there itself. So if you guys want to have a more in-depth training in terms of that, we have trainings bi-weekly or every month itself. Go ahead, hit down there, because that's pretty much based on whatever our client results have. We just break it down for you guys itself.
I love it. Thank you so much, client. Those breaking down those case studies are always super valuable, because you can see, like, in the moment exactly what's happened. So guys, strategicattraction.com/roadmap is the place to go, and that way you can stay up to date with what Darius has got going on. And he also has his podcast, which is called, what's the name of your podcast, Darius?
Influence to Impact, but we're actually going to change our name to Strategicpreneur. But I wouldn't be too worried about that itself.
Mm-hmm. So head on over and just you can also download his podcast on iTunes and a number of different places. And if you want to download the Unlock Show, we are also on multiple different podcast channels, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of them that you can find us on. Every Wednesday I stream live, usually with a guest, and once summer is over for the US, so in October we'll be starting back with our Friday sessions too, where I'll be sharing a lot more how-to and inspirational type stories to really get you going, to help you build your influence and authority throughout 2021 and 2022. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us today on the Unlock Show. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson, and it's been my absolute pleasure to host Darius Tan today from Strategic Attraction, and I hope to see him around again sometime. And like I said, maybe we get him back in a few months' time and just do a bit of a check-in on you guys, because we're all about accountability here too. We want to make sure that you not only get the information, but you implement it. So I'll see you guys again for another episode of the Unlock Show. 10 a.m. Brisbane time, right here on Facebook and also on YouTube. So thanks very much for joining me, and bye for now.